All right, everybody, the yard is empty. We got just a couple little guys we threw up there. I was trying it out to see if it worked, but everything else is empty. In the next few hours, we'll have the yard hunt set up. I'll walk you through how to do a few things that can be helpful, specifically putting up the styrofoam tombstones. I've done that for a while, and I found out what works best. So look forward to sharing it with you. We're going to get the yard set up today, and we'll show you what our yard hunt looks like. This is like the yard 15 for us. We started with like a few things. Let's see if I can find some little pictures and throw them in here. But literally we had just like a few props years ago, and now we've got a pretty big, extensive setup that we have in the yard. So I look forward to sharing it with you. So the first key I would tell you, for me anyway, when I go to set up the yard hunt, is to get one last mow in so the yard is pretty flat and the grass isn't too high. I don't usually mow towards the end of September. I let the grass kind of grow a little bit, and then I get one last time in mowing before I set everything up. So we just did that. Now we're gonna go in and edge a little bit, and then we'll start laying out the stuff. We started to pull some of our stuff out. We got a lot. There'll be a lot of stuff out here, and I'll walk you through how we set it up, and hopefully show you a pretty cool finish. Guys, as I'm setting up, you can see I have a lot of stuff here. I'm kind of laying everything out to try to get ready. So the big key on this is to have a plan. We have a lot of stuff to put out. So I always have an idea of where I want to put everything. So what I do now is just go through and start setting up different areas. So like the upper area here is usually, we do like the zombie area over here. We'll do the skeletons on the graveyard over here. So we'll set up the graveyard in different zones. And the key is to try to find different places to put stuff. This is a cool thing we picked up a couple years ago. We use them during the season. We have plants on here, but this is also great. These are like Jericho hooks or farmer's hooks, and they're great for hanging plants, but they're also awesome for hanging up like, any type of hanging specter or, werewolf, whatever it is you have that you want to put on there. It's really neat because it'll give it a cool flying effect. They're not on the ground, so it actually works really well. So this is one of the things I like a lot. I have like 6 of these. So I can go through and put them in different parts of the yard to kind of create different areas. I have a Sam I'm going to put up from trick or treat. I've got a couple of like witches and ghosts, so it's always a lot of fun with that too. So just kind of have a plan when you go in and get everything set up the way you want to. I'll show you a cool setup I did last year. I bought some small picket fencing, and I put orange and purple lights on it, and I used that to frame up the cemetery on the bottom, because I have kind of these yard stakes that I've had for a long time. You've probably seen these at the different Halloween stores with the skeletons on them. So these are kind of neat, but what I do is I frame those on the outside, so I have the light up piece in the middle, and then that goes on there. So I'll show you that in just a second. So we'll come back and show you as we're kind of setting the yard hunt up. So another key top tip, all these styrofoam tombstones you buy have these little plastic clips that they want you to kind of connect them with, and they are terrible. They don't last, they break, they fall out, the tombstones fall apart. So what I did a couple of years back is I switched everything over from the little plastic clips on the bottom that would break in these tombstones into these, either I do like wooden dowels or these wooden stakes. And what I do is, you'll see on here, as I said, as a top tip for you, and this one's up from last year, I put a layer of duct tape on the styrofoam, and then I duct tape the duct tape. I duct tape the duct tape to the duct tape, which is a very weird sentence. But this way, again, I have a solid surface for it to go on. If I'm just using the styrofoam, you'll see it'll pull off. So some of these I'll pull off and reset up again. But I will tell you, this has been a lifesaver for me. You see I have my rubber mallet over here with my my waterproof duct tape, the Gorilla Tape. And this works really, really well. So what I do now this year is I'll just go through and see what areas I need to go through and tape down to the styrofoam. But again, it works even pretty well in the rain. It'll keep these from flying away. The other cool thing is these metal tombstones that have come out are great. They're just 2 stakes in the ground that don't go anywhere. But they're like $20 a tombstone versus something like this. It's just like $5 or $6. So I'm slowly converting over. I think I have 9 or 10 of those now. Maybe not even that many. It might be 6 or 7. But I'm converting over to the metal long term, so I don't have to do this anymore, because these do become flying objects in a wind or rainstorm that you're chasing down the road. So we got a lot of these. We're gonna get it set up, and we'll come back again and show you in just a second. So just another quick top tip, you'll see this is a rounded stake, and in years past I didn't pay attention to what side I would put on it, but if you use the flat side flat up against the tombstone, it sticks better, right? So it's much less likely to move around. So you have that rounded edge on the backside that you're going to tape. So as you're using these, just again, pay attention to what you're doing. I didn't in the years past, and it does make a difference if I put that flat side right up against the tombstone. So again, just a top tip as you're setting up a yard hunt. We'll come back and see you in just a second. The other thing to notice is I set up everything, it's at an angle backwards. Again, intentionally, as we get wind and rain, you want to have it a little bit of an angle, and straight up and down is much more likely to get bent over. So if you see the tombstones coming together, you'll see all of them are bent back just a little bit. Again, to help offset that wind and rain that we're going to get. This just makes a big difference, again, from me chasing these down the street. Again, 15 years of doing this, you get used to what works and what doesn't over time. One other thing to notice too, I tend to put the smaller tombstones in the front of the yard where we get a lot of wind here. The bigger tombstones will get protected by the house. So as I'm doing it, again, I use the natural protection of the house with the larger tombstones. So if you see like the bigger ones here, or even over here, we got a couple of the larger ones. We try to put those closer to the house. Again, with less wind buffering from behind, we tend to get some pretty good wind and rain around here. So that just helps, again, from not having these blow away and having to chase them down the road. All right, so this is off to the side. This is a little piece of property that splits our yard from our neighbor's yard. We usually don't put anything here, but I thought I had some extra tombstones, so I would just kind of keep it simple here. This ghost and this Frankenstein are the first two things we ever bought 15 years ago when we started doing our yard hunt. We have one other thing that we've kind of stuck with, but we've got this witch here. Kind of a good habit, a good hint. If the arms are bendable and you're using like these farmer's hooks, if you can wrap them around, they'll stay facing forward. Otherwise, they're gonna blow in the wind. And I'll show you in a second because I didn't put the clown over here on there, so he'll do that all day for me. But you can see here, we've wrapped this ghoulish skeleton or pumpkin character here. We've wrapped his arm around, he'll stay there. This rock used to light up. This was also one of the first three things we ever bought for our first yard hunt 15 years ago. But I think I was telling you about it, you know, we've got the skeleton stakes that tie into the fence that lights up. We have it on the other side. So we're kind of fencing in the graveyard. We have Freddie and Jason. Jason's looking better than he was this morning. He was a little rough coming out of the box. These are older now too, and they're falling apart, but probably get a couple more years out of them. We had a little fun this year, so we put kind of the fresh grave here with the skeleton as like kind of the caretaker, and he's mowing the yard, and you got all the body parts coming out of the back of it. So people seem to like that one already. We've shown that a little bit. We've got our climber on the side of the house. We've got our other guys hanging out here. And this I was saying, the clown here. Again, if you can't wrap it around the pole, and this one doesn't work very well, it will blow around, so it won't face the direction you always want it to. But you can see the other guys we have are. Now, a couple things here again with the skeleton. I put a spike in the yard or a post to keep the mower from going forward here. This mower is an older one, it doesn't work anymore, so I figured I could use it for this year before I ship it out next year. I think it'd be a fun prop. And then with our skeleton, we've just zip tied him to the mower, so he should be in a good position. These are one of those bendable, kind of lockable skeletons, so it should be in a good place. It shouldn't be any problem with this staying anywhere, so it should be in a good spot. As we go through, kind of the same stuff we were talking about. So same with our guy here. This guy we've had for quite a few years. His arm's tied around here. With this particular piece here, this one falls over quite a bit. It's kind of a cool, just like a coffin looking, but has a stand. But outside it'll fall over, so we used a bungee cord secured on both sides. That also let us hook Sam's arm underneath to keep Sam facing forward. We've done this guy we've done in the mailbox for probably the last 4 or 5 years. What I do is I tie his arms and his head together, and then I put a knot down underneath and tie it into the post on the mailbox. So again, it doesn't go anywhere. I showed you when we were doing the tombstones, kind of where everything goes. Kind of standing with our Wolfman here, so we have all that. So just a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy the yard. We do this, like I said, every year. We'll have more stuff that goes out on Halloween night that just can't set out the whole time. But it's a pretty cool. It's pretty cool. The neighbors seem to love it. It was funny. I've already had like 4 or 5 neighbors kind of come by and like, oh, I'm so glad we weren't sure if we were gonna do it. I'm like, it's October 2nd. They're like, I know, but you always do it so early every year. So, happy to have it out. We got it out for the next 4 weeks. And then on Halloween night, I'll come back and shoot it one more time. We have everything out. My wife's a great pumpkin carver. We have a couple of animatronic guys that don't go out to Halloween night. We move some stuff around. Sometimes we'll incorporate the Jeep into the experience. So I look forward to sharing that with you. Like I said, I'll come back tonight when it gets dark, and I'll light up what I can. Share some of the stuff with the strobe lights, some of the different stuff that lights up the lights on the house. So we'll share that with you. Look forward to sharing that with you, and we'll talk to you in just a little bit. All right, so we have the night yard hunt. I'll show you what everything lit up. So we've got that projection with the skull on the house, which I thought was always kind of cool. It's got a few different things that it can do, but the skull is my favorite one. We've got the lights over here. We did the purple and the orange on the gate. Got the skeleton mowing the lawn with the red eyes. We have Freddie and Jason lit up with the strobe over here, which I think is kind of a cool setup. And then we go up here, and you can see we have another strobe set up here, a different color. This is like a blue and purple, which is kind of neat. We have the projection here, the old school haunted house projection. Got the lights on the house, same thing, purple, green and orange, so it's kind of the Halloween colors. Again, we have some more stuff that'll light up on on Halloween night. This is just kind of the stuff that lights up now. It's kind of cool. So yeah, always have a lot of fun, but we like this guy over here. This is always a kind of cool projection on the house. So that's the Halloween yard haunt for now. We'll show you one more version again at Halloween night when we have everything out. We always have a lot of fun with this. We don't leave everything on right now. Again, it's a lot here and it's early, but you can kind of see again, it's a really cool sled up at night. This was the big thing for me when I switched over a few years ago. I wanted some stuff that lit up, so it wasn't just a daytime thing. But you know, again, I didn't want everything just to be like a light up. Some of these guys will light up, this werewolf will light up, but again, it's only motion censored, so a lot of it doesn't go off unless you have somebody kind of walking by it. So just wanted to share it with you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. You know, again, with old school scares, we have the movies coming out every day during Halloween. So we got 31 movies for you we're gonna review. So as always, stay scary. Thanks for checking it out. Bye.